years, they would just bring some tethers in there and say, hey, we don't need no reparation. We need to stop begging the white people. So for a long time, that kind of energy kind of it squandered morale. We heard people who we thought were fellow Black Americans saying this stuff, and that just kind of dissipated the energy. Now, because there's a major delineation movement, there's a delineation renaissance, they weren't able to use these tactics. We were now able to identify all these people that they threw out here talking about what we shouldn't get. And we realized, hey, wait a minute, this person ain't even qualified to get reparations. Why are they speaking on it? And when we start looking back and looking at all the people who were talking down on it, we started to realize these were a bunch of tethers. Y'all remember Cynthia Erivo's bestie, that Lovey Ajayi, whatever her name is, a Nigerian tether who's a writer and who's written for a lot of these Democrat publications. She was doing an interview one time and she talked about how the tethers at the NAACP, because that's been tetherfied, by the way, how
Yeah, the
they had a
NAACP,
desk.
the National Black Caucus, that's all been super, super duper gentrified. Let me give another shout out to my brother Roger W for the Cash App donation. Salute to my big brother Roger W for supporting the channel. Make sure y'all support the channel. Don't let Roger W and the other brothers and sisters that supported the channel be the only ones. All right. Make sure y'all support the movement that supports y'all. All right, let's get into it.
Say about reparations, and her essay was like, no, Black folks shouldn't get no reparations. They don't deserve it. And then she won an award. They gave her like an award. They gave her money. She was bragging about it. Y'all remember when they had that fake reparations hearing with Candace Owens and Coleman Hughes, two people who are both Caribbean, talking about we shouldn't get reparations. We don't need reparations. So we start letting folks know, hey, 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 we're looking at backgrounds. We're looking at lineage. These non-FBAs shouldn't even be in the damn conversation. Then we start looking at people who put these little jive bills out there like HR 40 and the Sheila Jackson Lees. We start looking at her background, and she passed away. I'm not going to disrespect the dead, but she was a tether. All right, I'm not disrespecting the deceased, but she was a tether. She was Jamaican. So they haven't been able to use the same trick bags that they've always used when it came to us getting our reparations or talking about our reparations. We stood on our reparations square, and delineation was very important. Us delineating and recognizing our foundational Black American lineage and not letting other people misrepresent us, that was one of the most powerful things that we've done in the last few decades. So they know what we want, ladies and gentlemen. They know that we're standing on reparations business. They understand that we have not moved off that square. We're not caping for immigration. We're not caping for minority coalitions. We're not caping for people of color, sit downs, and none of that stuff. It's all about delineation and foundational Black American business and tangibles for our ethnic group. And we're not letting anybody shout us down or scare us or punk us off of our square. So the Democrats now they've tried different tactics. They're using reparations as a bait and switch now. They'll tell us, hey, we got a little reparations package that we're gonna put together. And they think them just saying reparations is gonna make us just run over to them and support off rip. No, we're reading all the fine print. That's the thing that's tripping them up. They keep coming at us with different trick bags using the term reparations, and they expect us to not read the fine print. And we're reading the fine print and we're sending shit back to them if it ain't sounding right. Now, Atlanta, they didn't come up with another trick bag talking about how they might have reparations on the table. And when you read it and look at it, ladies and gentlemen, it is a straight up and down nothing burger. It is a bait and switch. Let me look this thing up real quick. Let me find it. Let me get this for the family and read this off real quickly, ladies and gentlemen, to let folks know what horse crap this is. And this just came out. When does this article come out? I think it came out today. Yeah, it came out today. So it says reparations could soon be offered in Atlanta. The city of Atlanta has launched a reparations program aimed at addressing economic, educational, and health and social disparities. Channel 2 news reporter Ashley Lincoln learned instead of offering direct financial payments, the program focuses on offering resources to descendants of those who were historically set back. The program involves the appointment of a new commission known as the Atlanta Reparations Study Commission, which will explore unconventional approaches to reparations. This commission will study potential beneficiaries and methods over the next 3 years. It will be led by Dr. Sheila Fleming and include scholars from Metro Atlanta universities. Quote, when people say reparations and think about getting a check, municipalities in Georgia and even local counties can't do that, said Atlanta City Councilman Michael Julian Bond. We want people to know that this is going to be based on serious scholarly research. The commission will consider the impact of historical events such as the displacement caused by the construction of I-85 in the 1950s, which affected both African American and Jewish families in areas like Sweet Auburn and Summer Hill. Potential forms of reparations being considered includes down payment assistance or rental support for those displaced, as well as job training and educational opportunities through existing grants and partnerships. Quote, there will never be a way they can repay us, though. Never ever, says resident Anthony Gadsden. The commission is expected to deliver a preliminary plan by the end of the year, with the next meeting scheduled for later this month. Family, this is a big pile of nothing burger. This is a big ass bag of nothing burger, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it denies direct cash payments, which is the core of real reparations. Reparations means direct compensation for harm. When you start out talking about we can't give checks, that's not a reparations plan in any shape, way, form, or fashion. Avoiding payments, that's a disingenuous way to erase the core demand of reparative justice while pretending to address it. We got to get that money. I don't want to hear none of that shit about it ain't be about money. Yeah, because slavery was about money. You took, then you gonna give. You're gonna give us the same shit you took. You took money out of us. We were the first stocks and bonds. We were the first capital over here. We were literally used as money. We built the wealth of this damn nation. They made money. They made all of this money off of our free unpaid labor. And they're going to give it back. See, this article, it hides behind scholarly research. That's to stall. Saying the city councilman said it's going to be based on serious scholarly research. That's a code for endless panels, endless commissions, endless reports, I'm sorry, not no action. They're going to basically pay some bootlegs, many of them going to be tethers. They're going to pay them to sit up and discuss our reparations. That's what that means. They're going to get a whole crew of tethers to sit around discussing ways that they ain't going to give us reparations and then pay them for not giving us our reparations. Yeah? We already got the research. We already know the harm. We know the harm of slavery. We know Jim Crow, redlining. We know all this delaying. We ain't going for it. That's another thing. Tethers, they always get these tethers who act like they're educating us on what we've been through. We know. How you tethers gonna tell us what we've been through? You just got here. We know we got
Oh, you niggas ain't go through nothing, nigga.
families, we got great grandparents and mothers. They told us what went down when they grew up and when the grandparents grew. We know. We're from here. We already know what the get down is. We know better than you. You ain't gonna give us no study and no commit. We already know. Where's the money? You see what this does, man. This little bullshit program they got, it dilutes reparations by including other groups. You saw how they lumped in Jewish families? Really? Jewish families affected by I-85? Are you insane? Displacement with black families. Uh, oh, they always got to attach another group to us. They can't do black and brown because that's toxic right now. As they see, we ain't going for the black and brown, so they know not to use that. That's a toxic term because yeah, we're letting everybody hold their own nuts with this immigration thing. So they see where we stand on the black and brown, so they know they can't use that. So now they're trying something else. Well, the black and Jewish people, they both suffered. Man, please. Man, please. Many of these Jewish-owned businesses were the ones discriminating against black people in the 1950s and 60s. If we're going to go there, you had some of these Jewish run suburbs like the Levitt towns, which was built by Jewish brothers. They had in their covenants that black people couldn't even live there. I know you ain't going there. We know history. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that at all. All that discrimination, when you look at all of those civil rights um, videos and all that footage of black folks getting thrown out of Woolworth and stuff thrown at them at these restaurants, many of them places were Jewish owned. If we're gonna be real about it, so we ain't doing that. See that they're trying to erase the harm that was inflicted specifically on foundational Black Americans. That's why true reparations has to be lineage based and exclusive to foundational Black Americans. And this little job ass commission is offering all of these non-tangible bureaucratic resources instead of wealth transfer, job training, educational opportunities. That's not tangible. You can't measure that. And they're talking about through existing programs. Those are just standard services. That's not no damn reparations. You understand? No, we need guaranteed assets. We need guaranteed tangibles. Damn all of this education programs and education opportunities. No. That's too subjective. You see, they're framing reparations as like charity. That's not justice. No. Rental support. We're not immigrants. You give rental support to immigrants. Down payment help. What are you talking about? For those displaced. See, that turns reparations into that's like a temporary aid. No, reparations has to be guaranteed, inheritable, unconditional. Yeah? We don't want none of this state managed charity with all these strings attached that basically anybody can get the way they're wording it. Excuse me. See, they use displacement as a distraction from slavery-based harm. Focusing on 20th century displacement like the I-85 construction. See, that sidestep foundational injury done by slavery. So you got to watch that stuff. We're talking about Jim Crow, apartheid, all that stuff. So these are urban renewal grievances. This isn't reparations. And the thing is, they refuse to identify reparations as a federal and local responsibility. talking about cities can't do cash reparations. That's horseshit. Yes, they can. Cities can offer land. Cities can offer tax exemptions. They can offer no interest grants, business grants. Oh, they can do all this stuff. They do all this stuff for immigrant groups. It ain't about what they can't do. It's all about what they won't do. Local governments, they have the agency to do anything they want to do, but they're choosing to punk out with the reparations, and we're just not going to let them do that. And this almost seems like a Trojan horse for the existing DEI types of programs that's already out there by funneling
Hey, he been calling them out a lot here lately, Patrick Gabriel. He been calling out them small hats.
partnerships. That's some old DEI shit. Some they want you to go through some of these NGOs, some of these academic consultants, some of these DEI firms that profit off Black suffering, but they enrich all of these other buffers. You see, and this is also designed to create confusion around the definition of reparations. See, they're using these buzzwords like descendants, displacement, resources. That kind of blurs the line between reparations and social uplift. So that's engineered to cause confusion. So that allows the city to say they're doing reparations without actually doing reparations. And again, man, this is just another Democrat political stunt to calm the growing reparations pressure. The Democrats are hemorrhaging right now. And they hate that they have to be forced to talk about reparations. They're forced to talk about it reluctantly because we made them crash out. They thought we were going to play a game of chicken with them and then punk out, and we didn't punk out. We let their asses crash and burn. They lost bigly in the election. So they're begrudgingly talking about reparations, but they're just still going to try to trick it up. So their program, it's meant to give the illusion of progress ahead of the elections. It's a political PR move that they want to pacify the grassroots reparations movement in Atlanta while offering nothing of substance to foundational Black Americans. And one of the most interesting parts of that article, when they use the term descendants of those who were historically set back. Boy, they think they slick. Oh, they think they're slick. They've been listening to the Black grassroots. They know how we're talking over here. That's a deliberate little word remix they tried to do. They ain't slick. See, all of that intentional vagueness, that they're trying to replace the term freedmen or FBA. See, the term descendants of those who were historically set back, that's a horseshit ass term. That's a calculated attempt to kind of blur the target group and create wiggle room to include all of these non-FBAs, these immigrants and these other minority groups, all under a fake reparations umbrella. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. That's like a little semantic smoke screen that they want to do to avoid accountability, using these little soft passive ass phrases, historically set back. No, no, no. We were enslaved. Damn set back. We were enslaved, terrorized, dispossessed, Jim Crow. No, we had some real harsh shit done to us. Setbacks. Huh? You get set back at the line at the grocery store. No, 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 no. That's some little old polite shit. Other groups have been set back. No, no. We were terrorized and brutalized. No, no, y'all not about to sanitize what went down with us and throw these little janky ass jive terms on it. No, no, no. See, that kind of language, that's designed to reduce urgency and dilute the moral clarity that we're putting out there. And we ain't letting that happen. And it's a rebranding strategy because see, they want to hijack the foundational Black American grassroots momentum. See, that language, that's a remix of the precise language-based framing that we've put out there. And then they're just trying to remix it. Now that our language has political traction, the Democrats they're trying to co-opt the style while stripping it of substance. So swapping freedmen or FBA for some meaningless catch-all euphemism that can include everybody. That's what they want. We're not doing that. I mean, this is why family, please anytime they have any kind of reparations, this read everything. I mean, every word is very important. You got to read every word. I'm talking about with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm so proud of all of us for doing that lately. Because for a long time, we sat up there and let HR 40 rummage around like it was something, and we started really looking into it and breaking it down, and we found out that's a big-ass nothing burger, and they've been using these nothing burger terms on us. And using these little broad, non-specific terms, like historically set back, that allows reparations benefits to be extended to groups who were not victims of U.S. slavery. You see? So this is proof that they fear the power of precise lineage-based advocacy. See, the fact that they've adopted watered-down versions of delineation and the terms we use, it shows that the grassroots messaging is working and it's threatening the status quo. So instead of honoring that, the establishment, they're trying to colonize the damn language so they can undermine the movement. And we're just not going to let that happen. Now, let me get some more folks in here. Let's get the family in here. Let me talk to you guys. Y'all raise those hands. Let me have y'all chime in, ladies and gentlemen, because we do have a lot of folks in here. Let's get Fawcett. Let's get Fawcett in here. Mr. Fawcett, hop on in.
Quick question, because you said something that was so juicy in there.
Yeah, 23andMe got bought out by AfricanAncestry.com because African Ancestry also sold half of their company to a small hat investor. So now your DNA that you've been swapping is now in the hands of this billionaire, maybe possibly trillionaire small hat investor.
Yes.
State reparations versus federal reparations. That's a concept that I don't think it's talked about enough.
Yeah.
And there's something I want to go ahead and like delineate off of real quick.
Okay.
When it comes to state reparations, we all kind of know the big baddies when it comes to that stuff who have the sin of slavery on their hands, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. No one's going around and fighting for that. The question I have for you is, there were 13 states admitted into the United States after the abolition of slavery, a lot of them in the West. Would they be on the hook for any state reparations in that matter?
Yeah, because they became a part of the United States government. Now, like California, that was almost a little tricky thing because they were talking about reparations for slavery in California, and everybody was trying to use the argument, well, California was not a slave state, but it had de facto slavery. You did have slavery out here. They just looked the other way. That's why there were big cases of people trying to get their freedom out of California. Also, these other states are going to be on the hook because you had the Fugitive Slave Act, which was a federal law, which they would go into these free states and bring Black people back, and these other states were complicit in that. So that they're on the hook too. And also, these states were built from slave labor. They were able to go and build these other states based off the labor and the wealth built from our labor coming out of slavery. So yeah, all of them are on the hook.
So just
can I say something real quick?
Want to go ahead and reiterate real quick.
Yes.
Like North Dakota, South Dakota.
Can I say something real quick about?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And federal.
Let's get it. It's a good conversation too.
Yeah, they passing the buck between the federal is passing the buck to the state, and the state is passing the buck to the federal, which in reality the state would have more information on your lineage, on your ancestors than the federal. Okay,
I think both of them need to be hit. We need to get state reparations and then ultimately federal reparations. But I think it'll be a little more feasible to start hitting them in small pockets, like the state reparation angle. But all angles must be covered, though, ultimately. You see what I'm saying? Because it's going to boil down to federal regulation and whether or not they're going to get the funds anyways. So
right, exactly. And they're going to get the funds from the federal, correct?
Right. So we might as well go all of it in one conversation.
So are you talking about like a civil lawsuit against them that can happen if we have
ultimately that will also be part of it. But yeah, war crimes against inhumane things against humans in America, or Aboriginal people in this case, and this was war crimes. So yeah, we're talking about stolen land, stolen
Okay.
fraud of names, and patents that were supposed to be paid back. So we're talking about ultimately reparations and restitutions. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we're ultimately talking about reparations and restitution. So once we cover those particular angles, I think we might be hitting on something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We might be hitting on something real strong.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
That's
get
it.
it.
Admitted in 1889,
Mhm.
about 25 years after the abolition of slavery. They're on the hook too, even 25 years after.
From a federal standpoint. From a federal standpoint, yes.
Okay, from a federal state. Okay, so state, like I would be more inclined to, like, when it comes to state reparations, that would be a no-brainer coming from those states that were actively and viciously participating in it and literally killed half their population to defend it.
Mm.
But just it seemed a little wild to think that, like Oklahoma or like Arizona or Alaska would have to be on the hook for state reparations when they weren't even here when that whole thing was going
But
down. So
federal, yeah, it would definitely.
yeah, that's just what I wanted to get
Right.
on. So yeah, okay, well we can suffocate Georgia and Florida a little bit more. So all right, that was all I asked.
And thank you so much. Yeah, it was a federal thing. Yeah, and those states were created from the wealth generated from slavery. Yeah, it was. So they're all on the hook from a federal level. So we can do federal and state with some of the places that directly enslave people. But yeah, I'm looking at it from a federal standpoint. Let's get Taco Man. Well, hold, let me get Adonis. I ain't heard from Adonis in a long time. Where you been hiding, Adonis?
Adonis.
Adonis, hop on in.
That's crazy, Adonis.
I made a mistake. I should have voted for Kamala.
Uh-oh.
My heart.
Make sure y'all hit that like button. Support the channel. That ain't the Adonis I was talking about. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's get a few more people to support that channel, man. Salute to the real ones in the building. Share the live stream. Let's go.
Hey,
I made a mistake. I should have voted for Kamala.
uh-oh.
My heart's been breaking for these immigrants that are being zip tied and hauled out into the road in the middle of the night. The kids, what they're doing is wrong.
Uh-oh.
And I can't believe I sat on the sidelines and I voted for Jill Stein and allowed this Donald Trump to use his federal forces to invade our communities and separate and pull out the blacks.
He's over there crying crocodile tears.
Allowed this Donald Trump to use his federal forces to invade our communities and separate and pull out the blacks and pull out the immigrants. They got the immigrants in one van and they got the blacks in the other. This isn't right,
I've
Tariq.
heard about this. Where are they taking the blacks? I heard the blacks are being deported somewhere. Where are the blacks being deported?
They're detaining Black Americans and they're harassing people. I was okay with deporting criminal aliens, but this isn't right, Tariq.
Right, and I heard they're getting FBA 2-year-olds and tying them up and putting handcuffs on them. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, and
I mean, I haven't seen the videos, but that's what's been reported in the news. The Chicago mayor had a video talking about he's banning ICE from public property, that they're going to have to find their own way. This isn't right, Tariq. We should stand in solidarity. I know I've never said this before, but we should look in standing with solidarity to get rid of ICE because they're harassing our people too.
Oh.
Don't you think?
So do we need to stand in solid? So does it need to be back to black and brown? Do we need to go back there?
Well, I've got to do something to fight back against this, and I'm going to vote for Democrats because they're going to try to stop this.
Oh.
This is too far, Tariq.
Yes,
This is too far.
It's back to black and brown. There you go. All right, Adonis. Thank you so much. Adonis, it's funny.
I'm no longer musty. I'm no longer musty. Hey, I'm no longer musty.
AI song is diabolical. Hey, but man, listen, I ain't gonna be in here too long. About to get ready to make my way up out of here. But I do got something special cooked up for the Aboriginals, Indigenous brothers later on. Ooh, we got some heat for y'all later on, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Brothers.
That's what's up.
We got some heat. Shout out to everybody that is in the building too, man. Make sure y'all thumb up the video and support the channel.
Well, it's a lot to unpack, and I appreciate you having me on to voice my opinion. And this is just the beginning, and I think we already won.
Yeah, we on top. We delineating. We getting on code, and the 3 steps that we on is stepping on these tethers next, expressing our genealogy and our lineage, and gatekeeping our culture. You understand what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody in the building. I do rock with y'all. Hey, Cannabis Club. Hey, man, we got something special laid down later on. So make sure y'all tap in with the tap in. Appreciate everybody for coming through. We is about to get ready to rock the house and get on up out of here. But we do appreciate everybody in the building. Make sure y'all support the channel. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, I'm going to drop that link right there for you in the chat. So make sure y'all support the movement. And with that being said, let's play the.
This is the soil of Florida, not Africa, not Europe, not no damn fantasy. This the mark of Moctezuma. We ain't never been no damn slaves. We was prisoners of war. And y'all still out here claiming that title like it's your birthright. You know where the word slave come from? Slavic, from over there, Slavonia. You from there? Nah, you from right here, from these lands. Moctezuma's blood, the sovereigns of Anahuac. So get it through your head, you royalty, not no damn slave. Of the true sovereigns of these lands. Y'all better get it right. Look at all that. All this land. That's ours. We've been here.
They built this on stolen land, tried to hide the roots, cover the soil with lies. But we still here.
They call me a Moor, but I am not from across the Atlantic. I am of this land. Saturiona. So tell me, where ICE gon' deport you when you from right here? Huh? The clouds. Ain't no borders when this whole land your inheritance. So get it through your head, you royalty, not no damn slave. Y'all gon' get it one way or another. We ain't never been no damn slaves. We ain't going nowhere neither. This the mark of Moctezuma, of Anahuac, of the true sovereigns of these lands. Y'all better get it right.
Ain't no borders when this whole land your inheritance. They gon' deport you back to your own soil. Now let that marinate.
We are the unbroken memory, the feared royalty, living sovereigns of Temeri. We hold the keys to this land called America. We built the crystal cities they keep trying to erase. They don't tell you the Moors who civilized Europe came from the West, and some stayed behind. That's why their faces mirror ours. We, the kings, sailed east to civilize them, so they called us the Moors of Europe. But we were always the kings of America. This ain't just some coat of arms, listen. This is a stolen family tree from Temeri. They didn't invent royalty, they inherited ours. They parade stolen emblems. America's family tree is the blueprint they copied and claimed. We were the kings who were always here. They want you looking at Africa so you don't look right here, at your own land. So-called Indians were Moors. That's why the Creek Confederacy was so powerful. They were the original Moorish military, fighting to keep all these other groups out. They create these divisions, Moor versus indigenous, to keep us from consolidating. Don't let them cast stones and make you argue. We were already here. Think this history is new? Go look up the kings of Spain. Then go look up the kings of America. The same names, the same titles. It's all there. Just believe it. Go and look at the flags of old Europe. Then look at the banners of the Creek Confederacy. You'll see the same people, the same kings, just a different continent. They say it was us against them. But the Moorish War was us against us. We were fighting these tribes trying to create new people.
Moors are Aboriginals. Come on, it's a trick. The real enemy wants you to fight over semantics so we don't look at the historical documents. We got the same mission. Temeri was a monarchy.
They turned you against the idea of imperialism, of monarchy, because the monarchy was here first, and they needed you to forget that our title of nobility is the real power. Don't y'all read the damn treaty, son? They made a whole treaty with the Moors in 1787, government to government. They knew we were the royalty, and they wanted our trade. All the fantasy stories about warring kingdoms, That's not a fairy tale. That's our old world. That's the ancient confederacy and the bloodline. You think the families fighting over the throne in Game of Thrones is just fantasy? That's the real story of what happened right here. On your land, Temeri, so-called America. I don't think Tolkien just made up Middle-earth. It's all a metaphor for the real war, and they buried the truth and sold it back to you as fiction. They told our own people that the Moors were the enemy, made brother turn against brother over a lie. We fought each other over stories they planted. Think about that. Listen up. The real Moorish law is about justice, truth, and lifting up our own people. It ain't about tearing each other down.
Quit arguing over semantics. Stop cherry picking Moorish law if you're not gonna help uplift fallen humanity.
Y'all laughing that we was kings while they got our family crest everywhere. The joke's on you. We are still kings. It's in the DNA. You remember this? Art imitates life. Follow original black God bringing our history back to life. This. Also follow Spin City and Brother Red Pill. They're showing you how to take that fire, that vision, and make it real. Dropping the knowledge you need.
Join the movement. Bring your visions to life. Help us awaken the world. The power is within you. The time is now.